This is Mona Scott Young, CEO of Mona Me Entertainment, author of Blurred Lines, and you are watching Hip Hop Weekly.
Hi, I'm Crystal Ketchum with Hip Hop Weekly, and today I'm so excited to be sitting down with an entrepreneur, mogul, and executive producer of Love and Hip Hop, Miss Mona Scott Young. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I am so excited to be sitting down with you right now.
Thank
you. Your novel, Blurred Lines, is out. How do you feel?
It's a great feeling. You know, I chose to direct publish, which means that I had it set up with a major publisher. They wanted to push the release for another year. I felt like I had teed up so many things that I didn't want to wait. So I went ahead and decided to take the plunge and put the book out myself. Something I've never done before. So, you know, and that's kind of what fuels me, new challenges. So I'm having a good time.
Now, you've been in Atlanta all this weekend promoting the book. What have the responses been toward the book and the storyline?
It's been great. Atlanta's such a great city for me, you know, with Love and Hip Hop being here and it being, you know, one of the more popular shows in the franchise. There's always a lot of love and a lot of support in Atlanta. So, you know, I did everything from the Bronner Brothers Hair Show, and I did every radio station that is out here, and did a couple of the TV outlets as well. And it has really been a positive response. I'm really excited about, you know, getting some feedback once people start to read the book.
I have to know, what's your favorite thing to do when you're down here in Atlanta?
Eat.
Really?
Like when you come to Atlanta, it's all about the
Where do you
food,
go?
For sure. Oh my gosh, there are a couple of, first of all, Puff and Petals, and I'm not just saying that because it is K. Michelle's spot. I love the food. There is this crab tip Cajun, you know, stew that they make that is absolutely delicious. I love the presentation. I love the cocktails.
Pretty. The place is just really pretty.
It's beautiful to look at, but usually you don't think that the food is going to be any good when you go to some place that has all of this visual aesthetic, but the food is delicious. Port Calvin's, I love their fusion. That's a great restaurant. You know, pretty much, 6 Feet Under, that, you know, catfish and the grits and the fried jalapenos. I do not come to Atlanta without having, you know, one of those things because I love eating here.
Okay, I have to try that one. Now we have to get back to the book. I read that Courtney Parker also helped you write this book.
Yes.
What made you guys come together and write this book?
Well, Courtney, first of all, she's a prolific writer. She wrote Evelyn Lozada's book. She ran Cash Money Books for a while. And she also was a writer on Law & Order, one of my favorite shows. Law & Order SVU, to top it off. You know, so she worked with me on the first season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And she came into, you know, the room, and really, I think like a lot of people thought it was going to be a scripted environment and didn't realize that for real, these stories were really coming out of their lives. And she was like, everybody thinks you're making this up. Everybody thinks you're, you know, sitting here writing this stuff. You should do a book. And
so she came to you with the idea.
Well, she just, you know, that's what she does. You know, she's a novelist, and she was just like, have you ever thought of writing a book? And of course, over the years, people have talked to me about doing all kinds of different books, right? Like Tell All, which will never happen. I keep saying this is a tell nothing. This is a work of fiction. Or like, you know, an inspirational how-to book, and that's probably in my head somewhere, and one day will find its way to paper. But this was just, we wanted to do something fun. We had a great time with it. It was crazy because the time crunch that
How long did it take to write the book?
Well, we've been working on the book for some time, about a year.
Okay.
But when we, you know, realized that we would have to get it out there ourselves, and we wanted to make it a summer, you know, this summer release, we just kind of had to accelerate the pace. So we had to pick it up, and we were crunching on all ends. But shout out to Courtney and Joe Regal and Linda, my husband Sean. It was a team effort getting Blurred Lines out here to the public.
Now, I read the book and I loved it. It was, for me, it was definitely a roller coaster. I felt a lot of different emotions, and one character I really liked was Nina.
Yeah.
So in the process of writing this book, what character do you feel like you were most invested in?
Nina is a good one. You know, Karis and everything that she was dealing with in her own life, and then all of a sudden having all this information. I don't want to give away too much. You have to read the book. But did you find that it was like different self-contained stories?
Yeah. That's what I enjoyed most about it.
Yes, that was the whole point. We wanted to offer something that allowed you to have a variety of experiences in one book. So without giving away too much, it starts out with a little bit of, a moment where, these guys who have been in a relationship but celibate, right, are getting ready to go off on this long-awaited, getaway. And then the matriarchs of the family kind of descend on them and are like, not so fast. And they go back and they tell them their stories. And that's where you get the different stories that all come together to form blurred lines. Yeah.
I will say, get your pen and paper, because I was like, okay, so this person goes to this person. I had to do that just to keep track of everything.
It's funny that you say that, because that's one of the things that Courtney and I talked about. And I almost felt like I wanted to put a relationship chart in the book. Have you ever seen that? Like,
that where it's like,
this is who it is. And we wanted it to be layered and involved. I mean, listen, in my perfect world, it's a precursor to a scripted series. So you want to have those twists, those turns, those layers to the storytelling. That was definitely intentional.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this person goes, okay, just to keep up with the storyline, but I really enjoyed it.
But you know what was good, and I appreciate that. Thank you. If you had allowed yourself to get immersed in each story, then you're not trying to connect the dots on the relationships. Think about it, right? They were all kind of self-contained. But I love it because there's already kind of in our heads a sequel, so that we continue the story, because, we don't know what happened with Karis, right? So you need to.
That was my next question. So there will be a part 2. So when can we expect that?
Look, we are just getting part 1 up and running. Let's sell some few copies of this book. Yeah. But we hope that people support the book. It's, like I said, the first offering on Monami Direct, which is a platform that I put up mainly just to continue the relationship with the audience and the fan base. I'm hoping to be able to deliver different offerings via that platform, whether it be my Empower rings. I love wearing a nice, good, chunky ring. And it's kind of, for me, a little bit of
That's beautiful.
Thank you. This is my cougar ring. It's like a little bit of, I don't know, a talisman. Just something to have when you're nervous, or, when I used to go into meetings early on, this was kind of my security blanket. I'd rub on my rings. And so I decided to create a line of Empower rings. And that's what these are. And we want to be able to do, clothing. We have a collection that we are launching called Mazzi Bella.
Okay.
Mazzi Bella. And, of course, mix you can't get on Monami Direct. You have to go to your local wine liquor store. And that's kind of a new
it's like
innovation.
The perfect drink for a girls' night out. So definitely get it. Like
a perfect drink for a girls' night out or a girls' night in, when you want to curl up with a good book. You get your mix.
Blurred lines, exactly.
Your Mix X. And it's, we called it Mix X because it has a little bit extra liquor in there. Gets you feeling a little bit nicer, a little bit sooner, but it's Grape Concord, which for people who like, grape wine, it's a premium wine beverage. And it's our latest offering from Mix.
One question I have to ask you, while people are curled up on their couches drinking their mixed Moscato, what do you want them to take away from this book?
Just the idea that, one of the things that I talk about a lot when it comes to love and hip hop is the experiences that these women have had, right? We've pulled the curtain back on a world that people have often wondered about but didn't know the details of. And I think that that's part of the fascination with love and hip hop. And this, again, is just continuing that fascination, right? The stories are all set in the world of music and in entertainment. So I just want them to enjoy a good read and to not have to wonder if it's real or not, because I think that's so distracting. People spend so much time going, this is fake, this isn't real. And you're not enjoying these lives that the cast is sharing with you. So here, you don't have to think about it. Don't worry about it. It's a work of fiction. It's all made up. Just lose yourself, enjoy yourself.
I love that. Now, I have to ask you, you do have your own production company. Do you think we can get a movie?
You know what I would love? A scripted series. So just
based on that would be,
a scripted. Think about it. A movie, it's a lot to put into one, and plus the story's going to continue, and we want to be able to do something that's long running. I'm ready for residuals. You don't get any residual checks in reality. When people are telling me that I'm making this up, I'm like, if I was sitting around writing these stories, I'd be doing it, one, on network television, and I'd be doing it in a way that has residual payments. So, this hopefully can be a scripted series. That's what I'd love to see.
Is that in a process? Are you working on that now?
It's early days. I want people to enjoy where we are right now. First, I need them to read the book. Good. I need them to love the book. I need them to tell their friends about the book. I need those friends to go buy the book. And then we'll figure out if we can get a network interested.
Now, this book touches on a lot of things that some people may be uncomfortable with, such as rape, drug dealing, and just broken family. In the process of writing, was there anything you guys thought maybe we should not put that in, or let's hold back on that?
No, not really. I mean, again, right, these are supposed to be works of the imagination, and a lot of times they're rooted in reality. And I think if we look around our world, our inner cities, you know, these are all representations. They're situations that exist, that we know exist. And it was really about giving these women kind of a diverse platform or backdrop for their lives, right? Each one has a little bit of a different experience.
Definitely.
Right? By the time you get to Karis, she's from kind of a well-to-do, well-put-together household, but it shows generationally how you can change the course of your lives. But it also shows how those secrets that families keep, they think that they've swept it under the rug, but when you least expect it, it comes back to haunt you. Yes.
They do. They definitely do.
I would tell them not to allow themselves to be defined by what anyone else thinks they are, says they are, decides they are. They know who they are, and that's who they should be every single day. You know, you've got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the eye, and know that you are living up to your full potential. That, to me, is the true sign of somebody who understands and is grateful for whatever gifts they've been given in life, right? Stepping into that gift and living up to that gift every day.
Wow. I love that. I do. I love that.
Are you living up to your gift? Well, you're sitting here. The answer is yes. Yes.
That's a whole different story. But just listening to you talk, I just want to know more about your backstory. Now, there was talk that you were doing an autobiography of your life. Life is like a traffic jam, I believe.
Oh, my God. You did your research. You know what it is? That's the book in my head.
Oh, so,
right?
Okay.
No, that's just a book in my head. When I think about my life, I've never sat down and put together kind of a how-to or a, you know, inspirational, I don't know. I feel like I'm still figuring it out as I go along every single day, right? But I do have a series of kind of philosophies that I follow, if you will.
Okay.
And I think about life sometimes like a traffic jam, right? When you're in the outside looking in, you wonder if you're ever going to get to where you're going. Especially when there's congestion and things seem tough and you know.
Yeah.
But then when you're in the middle of a traffic jam, what do? You figure it out, you honk, you move, you dip, you dive, and before you know it, you look out and you're at your destination. So I think a lot about kind of those driving analogies, right? And it's kind of ironic for a person who sits in the back seat of the car all the time. But it's like, you know, being in the passenger side of your life. A lot of people, they're passive about what they want. They let someone else, right, direct their path and drive their future. But then they wonder how they got to where they are or how they didn't get to where they were trying to go, right? So you have to be in the driver's seat. You have to be firmly planted. You have to have your hand on the wheel, and you have to be the one directing your path every step of the way. Sometimes you've got to take a detour.
What's another philosophy that you live by?
What is another philosophy? Just everything is a series of steps. You don't have to figure it all out in one shot. Do not allow yourself to get overwhelmed, because that's another thing that we have a tendency to do, right? We think about what we want to accomplish and we, you know, get caught up in how are we going to do it? Are we going to be able to do it? Are we going to succeed or fail at doing it? And you know what ends up happening? We do nothing. Right? So it's just a series of steps. Demystify the process. Figure out, how do I accomplish this thing that I want to accomplish? And there's so much information available, whether it's asking a peer, asking a colleague, Googling, right? Looking it up. The internet has provided a wealth of information on absolutely anything you can possibly imagine. It's free most of the time, right? But take the time to do the homework, do the research, and then formulate a plan. And find clarity in that plan, because when those moments occur, those pivotal moments occur in your life, when you're sitting across from someone who can help you execute it, when you are at a crossroads where you've got to figure out, what direction do I go in right now? That clarity of purpose, clarity of intention is what's going to help guide you. And it's what's going to help you articulate what it is that you want so that you can inspire someone to help you get there and to help you make it happen. So, that's something else I think about and I try to live by every single day. Being clear in purpose, clear in intent, and be clear in communication of that.
Clear in purpose, clear in intent.
Clear in communication.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely something I want to start living by. Now, you mentioned when people think of Mona Scott, they think you're making Mona Scott Young.
Yes.
They think you're making up all these stories. How do you approach that negativity? How do you respond to that? Because you're not.
I mean, listen, people are entitled to their opinions. I just choose to continue doing it, providing the platform, providing the opportunities. I can't be responsible for what other people choose to think or how they choose to express those opinions that they have. But I certainly can be responsible for what I can do. And every day is just about doing my best and continuing, on this journey called life.
You're definitely a powerhouse when it comes to the media industry. As a woman, what obstacles did you overcome in the beginning of your career up until now?
Right. I mean, listen, it's still a battle, right? Oh. We can never rest on our laurels thinking that we've got this figured out. Right now, we're on fire. The woman, especially the woman of color, it is our time right now. And we have to take advantage of that. And we have to push through and break through those ceilings because we know what the cycle is and it doesn't come around often. I came up in hip hop back when it was the Wild Wild West. And it was certainly a boys club back then. And what I realized early on coming up was that the opportunities for women were few and far between. So the women that were in position had to hold on to what they had. And it was difficult to break through and to break in. So for me, a very big initiative is trying to provide those opportunities, pulling women in behind me with every breakthrough that I make. I hopefully can pull, a line of women up behind me. And hopefully that support and that network that we create continues to push us forward. That's kind of the definition of a pyramid. You've got people that you bring in, you continue to build up. So for me, that's a very big part of what I do. The mentorship, the teaching, the providing the opportunity to segue again into a business, right? Because when I came into music and then into television, I came into it without any real experience or background, connections or ins. I just kind of figured it out as I went along.
Wow.
I had some very incredible people that, helped put me in place.
What was your first big break?
My first big break, I would say probably, it goes so far back. I walked into a dance studio to take an aerobics class and ended up stumbling onto this incredible program called Stage Moves that these sisters had. And it was a performance, a stage presence class that they did for artists. And so I started working with them on that. And through that work, I met recording artists who were looking to work on their careers.
Is that how you met Missy Elliott?
No. This is way before that.
Okay.
This is how I met the Trackmasters. Because if you go all the way back in my history, I started out managing producers, the Trackmasters.
Oh, wow.
And I met them when they were working with a group called the A-Team that was signed to Chubb Rock. You're probably way too young to remember any of this. But anyway, we did, a lot of work with the A-Team, and that led to me meeting Chris Lighty, who became my partner at Violator Management when he had Violator Records at Def Jam. And we built a very successful music management company and represented everyone over the course of the years. And in 2008, after having spent many years supporting talent and helping them realize their dreams and, realizing their full potential, I realized that there was so much that I wanted to do that I hadn't even begun to scratch the surface on.
So when you went from music to reality television, did you have any apprehensions?
Of course. Especially because I thought I had it all figured out and I mapped it out and, kind of put together a plan because I always talk about making sure that you do what you have to do in pursuit of doing what you want to do. Because sometimes we jump off the ledge without a clear plan.
Take that leap of faith.
But then other times you can have a plan and God has his own plan, So I'd mapped it all out and had a blueprint for how I was going to roll out Mona Me Entertainment, and then the bottom fell out of the music industry.
So much going on in your life. How do you find time for yourself? What do you define as Mona time?
There are little things. I mean, coming home at night and turning on Law and Order or Power, which is my new, show of choice, and just disconnecting. I catch up with my husband, my daughter all throughout the day. We're on FaceTime, spending time with my family and my friends. I love cooking.
Does she want to follow in your footsteps? Does your daughter want to follow in your footsteps?
You know what? I feel like she's a better version of me. She's, so smart, so socially conscious. She's so sure of herself, much more than I was at her age. She's 15. Has a wicked sense of humor, so she makes me laugh all the time. And she's definitely, got a very strong sense of self. Right? So whatever it is she chooses to do, I don't know if she's going to do this or whatever it is. I have no doubt that she's going to be, successful at it, because she's very, very clear about, who she is.
She gets it from her mom, of course.
Oh, I'm so proud of her. She's amazing. My son, he's a senior at Morehouse this year. So, yes, go.
Yes.
He's finally going to transition from being a man of Morehouse to being a Morehouse man. There's a distinction I learned. And my husband is just my rock, He's been 22 years of just solid support.
Wow.
Love and unconditional, encouragement in the face of all of my crazy. Because I'm crazy. I mean, I'll come home. Honey, you ever thought about owning a restaurant? Because I just signed a 7-year lease. Honey, did you ever think about having a dog? Meet Teddy. Honey, did you know...
Wait, you have a restaurant? Or
I used to.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was that spontaneous. Opening the restaurant I was looking for
I did not know that.
an outlet for his mother's incredible red velvet cake. And I decided that the best way to get this out into the market was to have people taste it. And in order to taste it, they needed to be able to have it as dessert. In order to have dessert, you've got to have it after your meal. In order to have a meal, it was a warped train of thought. But yes, that led to Jay's Southern Cuisine.
Wow.
Yes. But we're out of the restaurant business now. Sean wasn't having it.
Wow. So we want to know what's next for you. Now, we have the book out. What's the
We've got the book. We've got the Mix Concord. We're doing the Empower Rings. We've got the Matsibella clothing line. Again, on the production side, we're moving into scripted and all of the other platforms, digital. And it's whatever God decides, It's in his hands. But I'm here. I'm ready. I'm present. And I'm ready to make it happen. Kill the ant with a sledgehammer.
Love that. You and these analogies are so good. Now, before we wrap up, just tell us one more thing about this book. Describe this book in one word for us.
Juicy, salacious, sexy, a good read. Yeah, I'm dying to hear the feedback, so thank you for yours and thank you for reading it.
Yeah.
But I want people to let me know what they think. Go to MonaMeDirect.com to get the book, MonaMeDirect.com, and then hit me on social media, Mona Scott Young. Let me know what you think. I'm dying to hear your thoughts.
Okay, last question. One thing I want to... It's not in stores.
Well, it
why
will be.
Was that?
It will be. Why?
Okay.
Well, because again, I wanted to offer it directly. It's an entrepreneurial move. Just trying to figure out how to maximize the profit margin. So it was just a business move, a strategic business move. I wanted to have this direct connection to the consumer. I want to be able to offer other things. And so this was a way to kind of get them into that frame of thinking. But we're definitely going to go wide, and you'll be able to get it at Amazon and everywhere else that books are sold. And now it's available on ebook, hardcover, and paperback, but there will be the audiobook. I will voice the audiobook. Yes.
Okay, I definitely got the ebook, and it's definitely worth your money.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Hip Hop Weekly. I love it.
Okay, so let us know. Tell your friends where we can follow you.
On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can find me at Mona Scott Young. Mona Scott Young. The young is very important to me. Mona Scott Young.
So make sure you guys go grab that Blurred Lines on
MonaMeDirect.com and get your Mix X.
Yes.
Mix X Concord Grape. It's delicious.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.